for tuning in to the Organically Blunt Show, a show dedicated to cannabis and the lifestyle that surrounds it, including cultivation, business, music, food, and everything in between. If you like this podcast, be sure to subscribe and follow us. The content on this show is strictly for educational purposes only. Some things on this show may be considered harmful to some. Organically Blunt does not endorse any harmful activity. If you're not 18 or older, please exit now. This episode is brought to you by Horticulture Lighting Group. The future of horticulture lighting has arrived. Shop the highest yield generating LED lamps in the world. Real efficiency, real yields. Made in the USA.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Organically Blunt. I am Jay Blaze, your host, and this evening we have the honor to, in my opinion, interview and talk with a legend of Michigan. And I say this, Skilbo, because, you know, without your dedication to this community...
Oops. Make a rookie move like that,
right? Without you, I wouldn't be here today. And that's the God honest truth, you know. I was so scared to get on video, and you pushed me. Were. You helped me form this show to where it's at today, and I can't be more thankful. So, you know, we're here to tell your story because, well, a lot of people have heard mine, but I want to hear yours, you know, and I've been dying to hear it for a long time now. So here we are.
Well, I just want to say thank you at the very outset, man. I've really enjoyed watching your show grow from the very beginning when it used to be a three-piece outfit. Now it's a solo run. And I got to admit that the shows really flow smoothly. So I'm really excited to be part of this. Thanks, man.
Definitely. So, you know, I wrote out some questions today. I don't normally, I guess you'd say, script it, but I felt like I had to give the audience a little bit better content with you and a little bit better story. So, you know, as we make changes into the new year 2023, you know, they won't necessarily be scripted, but I will try to write some good questions down prior to kind of give you guys a better rounded story. So with that being said, Skilbo, if you don't mind, I kind of want to give everybody just an introduction on you here, and then I'm going to go into a couple questions, and then we'll have at whatever comes our way. So
right on.
All right. So Skilbo is a medical cannabis patient from Michigan who has been growing cannabis and using it for the past 11 years. He has PTSD, chronic pain, and fibromyalgia on top of other issues. And he's
I'm a hot mess, bro.
Hey, it happens, brother. I know how it is. I got a few myself. You know, and you found relief with this plant. So with that being said, you know, that rolls right into the first question that I have for you. And that is basically, you know, can you tell me a little bit about your medical conditions and how it's affected your daily life and how you discovered cannabis and what it's done for you so far?
Okay, let me start chronologically. I first smoked cannabis when I was 13 or 14. I'm not sure which it was now. It's kind of a murky past. I used to be a skateboarder, and this would be in the 80s because I'm old. And the first time I ever smoked, I was with my two other friends. We were skating at this high school, and late as shit at night, dude busts out a pin joint. So there we were, three dudes sitting in a 1980 Chevette, you know, smoking down. And, you know, back then it wasn't about a medical thing. It was about, you know, experimentation with illicit drugs. And, you know, I was in the Army. I'm a veteran. I'm all dinged up from it. And so I didn't have health insurance at the time. And then we finally did get health insurance. And I had ended up, I broke my neck probably, I don't know, 13, 14 years ago now. I didn't even know it when I did it at the time. I didn't find out until later on as I was skateboarding. And I thought that at the ripe old age of like 37, that it'd be cool to try to still recapture my youth and try to do ollie down a set of stairs, which I did, The problem is when I landed, it sounded in my head as though I'd stepped on an
Ooh.
old school, like, remember the old wooden strawberry bushel things? Like when you step on, it's like a water bottle.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can kind of relate to that because, not to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
as a kid, the only bone I've ever broke was my growth plate in my right elbow, and other than my thumb. And my best friend of 35 years now, I've known him since I was like 3, jumped. We were in the BMXing, and he jumped.
There you go.
He jumped. I jumped my Huffy BMX bike. At the time, I was cheap.
Which is no feat because the Huffy was heavy as shit. It's not like it was one of the scramblers or anything like that.
And we lived in the dirt, not when we weren't city. We were these hicks. And we were out there and we made trails through the pines, and we had it where it came down a hill and it went around a loop. And as it went down, we dug like a 4-foot ditch that you rode through. And then you would hit a 5-foot double. And I hit it and I landed, but the other end is like beach sand. So my back tire gave. And when I landed back like this, my best friend on my 18-speed mountain bike hits it. Back tire lands right on my elbow and snaps it. Yep. And
wow.
How
old were you?
I was probably about 10. And
shit, man.
It was the first night of baseball practice. So the first time I was ever going to play baseball. I tried out and I got shortstop, and I was going to play and I never did. And I got benched the whole season, and I didn't quit the team. My parents wanted me to. They probably wanted their money back, long story short, but I didn't want to quit the team. So I sat on the bench.
Hey, man. That's kind of we can kind of segue off of that.
Yeah.
What got me into this was wanting to be part of something bigger than just myself. And I don't say that like with grandiose fucking delusions or anything. I mean it in the sense of I started podcasting because I wanted to meet more people, and I wanted to talk more, and I wanted to learn more. And it was one of those things where it's like, my family are not growers, and they get tired of hearing all this all the time. So I found it better for me to find some new friends and be able to talk cannabis and chop it up with them. And, you talk about, okay, you had to ride the pine to your elbow fixed and shit. But, that's kind of how it is sometimes. Think of like somebody that's in a red state right now that really wishes they could be growing, but they got to sit on the sidelines and, grow vicariously through us. So it's all being part of the bigger community and just giving back to it, man.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more. We definitely learned a lot, living in the sticks though. Like Red said, BMX and skateboarding, longboarding, snowboarding, all that.
Yeah.
We did all that. I mean, because where I live here, I'm surrounded by 5 lakes. So literally, other than Lake Michigan, which Lake Michigan is, no matter where I'm at here, it's like within 5 miles, basically. So like, it's always right here. Yep.
Right. So you are extreme west coast of the state, and I am extreme east coast of the state, man.
I've been over there a few times.
I got Lake Huron, man.
I've been to Lake Erie's Metro Park over there a few times for some car shows back in the day. They used to put on a big barbecue car show over there, and I'd drive all the way over there. And then I've been over to East Michigan meets. They do stuff in the parking garages and stuff over there. I used to be big into the automotive industry, and I kind of ventured from there to cannabis. And now, instead of me modifying cars, I'm modifying my grow. I mean, I'm always trying to find something new and exciting to try, and it's just the fun in it.
So what's new for 2023 for you?
Well, you're going to hear some things here that I haven't released yet, but everybody's here, so why not?
Come on with it. An organically blunt exclusive, man.
I partnered up with a good friend of mine. He's got some land. I haven't had the chance to purchase some land yet, just the way things have gone. And I've always been an outdoor grower that got forced to go indoor. Well, he decided he wanted to grow what we call Mindo dope trees. And I've grown a few in the past, you know, my
Those
big
15 footers, right?
15, 16 footers. Yeah. And basically, long story short, we're going to get his soil built and amended right. We're working with some companies that are going to help get me on the right fundamentals this year, and we're gonna do a whole YouTube series on it. Like, we're gonna try to give you guys as much content as we are, show you guys all the products that we're using. There ain't gonna be no hiding stuff, you know. If we run into a problem, you're gonna see it. Like, if we end up with root aphids or bud mold or PM or corn burrows or anything of that sort, you guys are gonna see the real deal. Like, we're gonna deal with these problems.
Well, that's the key
Not
right there. Is it's not that you're going to have this perfect grow, man. Like, that's one of the things
right.
about this plant
Yep.
is that you just do the best that you can with what you have for your environment, your equipment at any given time, and you hope that the gear you got is going to be bulletproof to whatever fucking environmental swings you may encounter. But it's not
Definitely.
about popping the beans; it's about harvesting the plants. You
Right.
know, so we got to do what we got to do to get them to the end, man. And that's where it's great to have these conversations, to have all the guests that you've had on here. You know,
Definitely.
Jay, you
Definitely.
should get a shout out, Jay, because you've really come a long way with this, man. Look at a lot of the guests that you've had and the cool
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely. You know, right on the way here, like I was telling you and Red, you know, I was on my way here, and you know, I'm a fan of the culture as a whole. Like the Mindo Dope Boys, their music, it moves me. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Cottonmouth Kings, the Grateful Dead. You know, it goes on and on and on. Anybody that's influenced the industry in a
Yeah,
way.
man.
And the Cottonmouth Kings called me this evening on the way to the studio, and they just dropped a new album today. For you guys that didn't check it out, jump on Spotify, type in their name, check out the new album. You know, they got I think
That's
there's 5 or
Cottonmouth Kings, both 2 Ks, K on the Cotton, K on the Kings.
Yep, yep. And they said, "Hey, we want to come on next week." I said, "Okay, let's have you guys on. We're going to talk about the new album, and we're going to do like we're doing right here. We're just going to chop it up. It ain't going to be all about their music. It's going to be about them and where they came from in the industry, and just kind of get an insider look at, you know, where they came from and what they've had to go with, and as growers, even for them, some of the things they might have had to face in their own personal grows. You know, I want to hear some of them stories. So it's gonna be fun. It's definitely it's sprouted, as I put it, into more than I could be ever blessed for. You know, after losing my grandfather, which was basically my last parent, you know, I didn't know what my purpose was anymore. You know, I was a semi driver. And
we've
here I
been
am
talking
doing
for a
this.
couple of years now, you and I, and that was
Yep.
one of the very first things that we ever discussed was you were in a really, really hard spot, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're feeling really, really super defeated, man. And I'm not trying to air your dirty laundry, but I say that to say
no. Yeah.
which is you didn't give up. You tried to dig in and you tried to basically pull yourself up and do whatever you had to do to make it happen, man. And that's what I'm really talking about. That's where you get the respect and the love, man.
Definitely. You know, and I've had, you know, and I don't mean to have this be about me, but I've had this name in my back pocket for a few years now. My grandfather and me came up with it. He's like, you know, you're just one of those people. I hate to say it, knock on wood. My grandma used to tell me, she used to say, "Jay, you know, with that mouth of yours, you're going to get yourself in trouble one of these days." And I had to figure out a way to use it smartly and not in the wrong way, because I'm so bluntly honest with things, like to the
blunt
point.
comes in, right?
Yeah, that people don't like it. A lot of people don't. They say, you know, you really could have candy coated that. No, I couldn't have, because if I did, you wouldn't have understood my point. So that's just how I am, and it's just funny.
Well, you got to be authentic, man. That's what it really comes down to. And
yeah,
man.
Definitely.
I want to say cheers to chat. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. I see a lot of names that I know, a lot of people from a lot of different places. And that's what I was talking to you in the pre-show about, was that being a part of this is just a chance for me to hang out and talk with my friends. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
I just happen to be on this side of the camera, and I don't take it for granted. I'm
Right.
very grateful for everything. I'm grateful for all of the people that I've had the chance to sit down and share a smoke with. People who have been like, hey, have you ever thought about trying this? Or have you ever thought about doing this way or that way? And, it's like no two people are going to grow the same way. No two
No.
people have the same genetics, even down to the point where if we share clones with each other, they're in different environments.
You're right. You're definitely right. And I tell people all the time, and I was listening to another show last night and they were talking about that. They said, you could take the same genetic and grow it in the Western hemisphere as you do growing something in the Eastern hemisphere. And okay, they're going to be totally different. The trichomes are going to stack up different. It's going to smell different. The appearance is going to be different. One might be dense and one might be airy and fluffy. There's so many standards that play into that just because even if we bought the same pack and I said, okay, I'm going to split it with you, and I sent you half of the same pack,
one of us is going to be jealous of the other one at the end of it all, man. Like,
you're damn right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Rusty Nails in the chat says scripted questions are great to have ready for slow spots, but organic conversation is better as long as it doesn't beat a dead horse.
Right.
Yeah, man. Let's talk about this for a minute. I was alluded to podcasting. I started off in the very beginning. I want to give a shout out to Shane McCormick. He was the original mind behind the Cheap Home Grow channel, and that's where I started. And that's where I got my toe in the water of doing this. Was I had messaged him on a YouTube video that he had, and I was like, hey, man, I dig what you're doing, man. Keep doing it. And so we started messaging back and forth, and he was like, well, why don't you come on and do a show? And I was like, because I really don't fucking have anything to say, dude. I don't know. I never really had considered that before. I was a longtime viewer of a show that used to be called GrowTube Roundtable. And it used to come on Friday nights. That's where I know who for Growly and, Med Grower ended up being on there, and Vader OG, just so many great growers that, those of us that have been part of this YouTube community for a while have watched. And I really liked the format of the show. So, talking to Shane some more, and I was like, hey, you've had some really cool guests on already. What do you think the chances of trying to put a show together was? And that's where he put the whole team together. That's over there now. And I love that it just keeps going and going and going. And yet it's always at like the cutting edge. It's like one of the most information-packed shows. It's extremely accessible. If you guys have never watched it before, which I know you have, but some people on Spotify may not have, please go check out Growing with My Fellow Growers. It comes on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what's kind of cool is we started the Michigan Bros Grow Show, which is I'm a co-founder of, me and Sequence_MI, my absolute fucking dude of dudes. And we wanted to start a show that focused on Michigan cannabis. And so we wanted to kind of do some interviews and talk to some people, kind of shine a light on, what's going on. And just basically tap into an already large and still growing community. And it's really been great for us. Those interviews led to us putting our own panel together. So we typically go live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Bro Show Live. It's a panel program. And just like Rusty was saying, to me, bring it all the way back around. Nothing on the show is scripted. We really rarely even have a topic that we're going to discuss. We just kind of start and see where it's going to go. And it's one of the keys is to be interactive with the chat.
Definitely.
Yeah. They'll drive the show. They'll tell you like, all right, you're beating those dead horses, fella. Let's keep it moving, man. Let's talk about
right.
something else.
And with you giving, I got to roll it way back now. Because you shouted Sequence out. I gotta shout him out too. Without Sequence, none of this would be even possible. He's literally the main person. because
He's helped a lot of people set up. He helped Red with his channel. He's helped you.
Well,
and
not
he even was
that.
at the point where he was able to help me be able to take us actually live without screwing it up, which I thought was amazing.
Definitely. But, long story short, and I won't throw him under the bus completely here, but me and him crossed paths. And that's how I came across the Michigan Grow Bros. Me and Sequence, well, we did some business together. We'll just put it that way. And
he's an enterprising young man. I understand.
Yeah, and and then I started watching. He told me about you guys having a show, and I'm like, whoa, okay, because I came across them in a Facebook group somewhere along the line, and I don't remember what one, but it's been so long. And then we did our deals, and then I started watching your show, and next thing you know, here we are. I mean, I was coming at you for a lot of advice, and
yeah, man.
You inspired me. I mean, you still do, because
I patiently answered all of your questions. And let me tell you, Chad, you want to talk about somebody who has questions upon questions upon questions. It's our boy Jay here.
Hey, I was always taught there's no dumb question, and I took it to the advantage of that, and I always have. People always say, man, you're never afraid to ask a question, and like I always say, if I don't ask it, somebody behind me is probably thinking the same question, and they're too afraid to ask. So somebody's got to speak up and be a leader sooner or later.
That's a good point. Speaking about panel shows, sometimes it's easy to forget that you're actually doing it for an audience and you're not just talking to your friend about a very specific issue, right?
Right.
And one thing that I've always done since the very beginning is I've always tried to be the person that asks the questions that someone in chat is probably asking. A lot of times we use way too many acronyms and way too many weird ass terms and stuff that it gets really, really intimidating for people. And we don't even realize it because we speak a certain jargon in growing. So that's why it's a good point to ask for clarification. And even if it makes you look dumb, you can just wink on the inside and go, it's not me, I'm asking for that.
Right. Yeah. And I've learned that, I'm still flabbergasted that our most viewed video so far is the stupidest one. I put a short up just asking people if they top water or they, there goes my email, or bottom water. And it's got over 1,300 views on that short already.
Hell yeah, man.
And I'm like,
you know what the secret is to learn from that is that people in this modern age, I mean, I love doing 2-hour shows because I know there's a lot of people that are stuck in trim jail listening to this. Someone's at work driving a high-low or some other bullshit.
Yep.
But at the same time, in this age, it's become about making shorts, about making something more digestible, it's about boiling things down, about, you know what I mean? Quick entertainment, hit it, split it and quit it kind of shit.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I learned just this season alone, my first event was at Big Cloud Farms, was I think it was Mendo and the Mint, but I set up a vendor booth as a podcast, and I was trying to go live there, and I can tell you, I don't work at events very well.
No, we never tried to do that because the sound quality is just fucking ass-tacular, and your signal is usually really, really weak. It's hard enough to get IG to work to try to, meet up with people and stuff.
Yep.
Go
ahead. Go ahead. No.
I was going to say that I wanted to riff off of what Rusty's saying. He says sometimes there's side convos going on in chat, and those questions have nothing to do with the interview. That can throw people. Rusty, I said, I think I was talking to Uncle Rick, or I don't know. I was talking to somebody, and I said that basically whatever show that this community is watching becomes the umbrella that everybody's standing under. Don't take it personal as like the panelists, like you're not cool. It's just people happen to be using you as like the group hangout place for a minute, So
right. Yeah, some shows are definitely beginner and introductory, like Mary Jane said, and some are just so scientific that I can't even keep up with it, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't understand everything, but I'm starting to absorb.
You don't have to, though. I've made it a career to not know a lot of shit. And then I always get happy when I'm on the air and I say something that's right. And then Spartan says it like 10 seconds later. I'm like, fuck yeah, I was right, dude.
Right, exactly.
We all come at this from a very, very different perspective. You know, you talk about being on the East Coast of the state. I'm on the, or vice versa. I'm stoned.
Yep.
And
That's okay.
about growing different things and different approaches. And it's just, there's so much to it, dude. There's so many different ways and there's so many different methods. And like,
Definitely.
go ahead. I interrupted you.
Well, I'm just going to play off what you say. That's what we're doing here. And, you know, that's like over here. I don't know if, you know, you guys don't get as much. Maybe you do. I haven't been over there like you have, but in my head, you guys don't get as much lake effect snow as we would get. And so that plays a lot into our other seasons too, because we get a lot of lake effect rain and other stuff over here. And
it's rained all week here, bro. And today it turned into big snowflakes.
Oh,
yeah.
And our season out here for outdoor, I typically like to get my plants in the ground by June 1, and then I try to get them done by November 1. And but I usually shoot for October 1, and it usually runs until November for me.
Dude, I hit that this year. I was lucky enough. I want to give a shout out to 2020 Mendocino Genetics. Adam over there hooked me up with some beans to run that were there. They have a series called the September Rains series. And all of these plants basically finish off by the last week of September or the first week of October, right before the rainy seasons and everything else. I ran my 12 outside this year, and I can honestly report, and you can go back and check the channel, I had 0 PM. I had everything was booming, and I was able to grow my meds to hopefully carry me through for another 6 or 8 months, man, until I can get everything. I just recently moved. I say recently, within not like weeks or anything. It's been months, but dude, it's a big deal. But I'm getting to the point where I can get enough shit put away so that I can get a grow going indoors again and get it rocking and rolling.
Definitely. Yeah. We're going to be trying a lot of different things and a lot of new exciting things this year. You know, I'm doing, you asked what I have coming other than the outdoor. I literally had, part of the reason I was running behind slightly in my head is because I had to just carry in boxes of soil. If you guys seen my living room, because I live in a small housing community, my living room, literally my couch and everything right now is full of soil.
You get not just a pallet, but it's taking up all the furniture as well.
Yes. And because we're going to be doing the next indoor grow as soon as this one's done, I'm going to be doing soil testing for 3 different companies. I'm going to be doing Sovium Living Soil. I'm going to be doing ProMix, which they got a hold of me, and I'm going to be doing Builder Soil. Me and Jeremy are going to do some stuff on here. We're going to show how to re-amend the coastal Maine soil I have and how to get it back up to par, so you don't have to buy new soil every time you want to grow. That's going to be a new educational episode that we're going to put out. So it should be fun to do that too. I got to get a tarp or a big tub, and probably
Rusty says a big ass tarp.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what Jeremy said too. He said, "You going to do a tote or a tarp?" I said, "I don't know, because if it's cold out, the only place I'm going to be able to put a tarp out is on my deck, and I don't want that because of snow, even though it's covered. It's too cold." So I'm thinking I'm probably going to use a tarp. And what we're going to do is I'm going to take, after these are chopped, I'm going to let them dry out for a while, and then I'm going to take the root balls and I'm going to shake them out real good over a tote and try to get everything out, and then I'm going to screen it, and then we'll amend it live and everything. I'll get the root balls out of it. So you don't even need to get the root balls out. Those will break down over time. See, that's what my buddy Chris, he's a geologist with Country Roots. He said that too.
Yeah. Shout out to Country Roots. For me, I was using a 4x8 raised garden bed. It's a cloth sided thing, right? It was made for soil. And I ran it for, was it 3 years? And so I never changed the soil. I just kept planting into it, and I had worms in there. It was a fantastic system, and I felt like the soil only got sweeter as time went by. And with minimal top dressings throughout, I never really had an issue. Now, granted, I didn't do any soil sampling. I didn't send anything to Michigan State to be tested.
Right.
So it's all bro sciencey, but the proof was in the plant, I always felt. And
Definitely.
I didn't really have any problems that I couldn't amend my way out of with a little bit of early detection of things.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be fun, because, they claim it's water only from start to finish. So we're going to put that to the test. ProMix gave us some bags for our autos too that we're going to try that are supposed to have everything from start to finish. We're gonna have fun. Those roots break down, but indoors they're breaking down while your next plant is growing. I do living soil indoors and I pull the root ball. Okay, good to know. Definitely. It's a full learning experience for me. I outdoors we just re-amended.
Sure.
But indoors, living in a house like apartment, basically, I just would throw it away, and it was so stupid because I felt in the beginning I had to hide it when I first moved here. I just felt like I had to, so I would throw in the root balls in garbage bags and hide them in the bottom of my garbage can, hoping the garbage man wouldn't see it. And then one day I defoliated, and I had like a 35-gallon garbage bag full of leaves, and I threw that in there, and I'm like, oh shit!
So dank, though, dude. Yeah, it's just, you can smell that shit big time.
Yep. And finally I gave up, and then I put some freak shows outside in my yard, and the neighbors, they complained it smelled like skunk, and I would laugh my ass off, but nobody noticed that they were what they were, and it worked out great, and it was fun, and we're going to try it again this next season. I'm going to have a couple what they call super freaks this time, so it'll be fun. Yeah, definitely, because we work with Humboldt Seed and a few other cool brands and stuff. I'm going to be giving away a lot more seeds this coming season. I'm trying to do more giveaways and more mystery boxes. We work with seedsmen, so we're doing that. We're doing a grow off that for a while here that's kind of select people in our Facebook group. We're doing the Bubba cheesecake, and that's been fun. So it hasn't been as smooth running a grow off as I thought it was going to be.
It never is, bro. It never is.
Right.
It's a great time, but logistically, it's not as easy as you think it is.
No, you're right. And
are you guys doing a get together for the judging, or is this just visual only?
Visual only, and visual and final weight. So it's going to be 2 categories basically. And what we're going to do is the first place winner will get $150 credit for seedsmen put into their account. Second place will probably be around 75 to 100. And third place will be 50 to 75. And it'll be fun.
One thing I would say about that from us doing it was one of the best things was using that as an opportunity to partner with a lot of different companies and a lot of different private people to try to put together those gift baskets at the end. And, a lot of people would really like to be involved in that if they only knew about it. So
right.
When are you guys going to start that? And how does someone, if they're listening to it right now, how do they get involved?
Well, it's kind of been going for a while now. I had roughly 10 people in it, not including myself. I'm running it just to see what it does. But I sent them all over the United States. I've already mailed out, and the contestants are already been posting updates here and there in our Facebook group. And what's your
Facebook group's name?
It is called Organically Blunt Growers Support Club. And if you type that in, you might be able to find us. Otherwise, the easiest way, because I don't like to get it shut down. You know how people are on Facebook.
Sure.
I got it loophole linked. So you go to our Instagram, you click the link in our bio, which brings up our link tree. And it has the link right in there directly to it. And then you just do your thing. You log into your Facebook, or what if you're already logged in, it should do it for you, and you just join up, and it goes from there. We've got, last I looked, I'm one away from 600 members in there.
Oh, nice, bro.
Yep. So, and I built that up from the ground too. Like I said, we're not the biggest channel yet. We don't have 20,000 followers yet, but we're definitely working on it. You know, we're getting a lot of views. We get a lot of listens on Spotify. That's where we get most of our audience, and our audience is the 36 to 44-year-old male, and we're pulling audience from Turkey, UK, Europe.
That's the coolest part right there is when you start seeing where your program is listened to.
Yep. And
we were we're listening being listened to in Malaysia and stuff. I was like, oh, that's so cool, man. But you know, the chat is international though, because we have a lot of people from the UK. We have people from down under, and sometimes we also get people from Europe as well that come through. So cannabis is definitely a global community.
Definitely. Last night we had friends in our chat on that episode, High on Homegrown. If you guys haven't checked out their podcast, you ever want to see what's going on the other side of the pond, check them out. Mackie over there. We're gonna have them guys coming on.
Shout out to Mackie.
Yeah, we're gonna have them come on. It's just they have so many good interviews lined up right now that for like the next 3 months that it's gonna be a while before things slow down and we can connect. So be sure to keep your eye out. That's going to be interesting. I've talked to him on the phone, and the guy's a riot, and it's going to be so fun. Definitely. You know, I met, like you said, I meet so many cool people along the way, just like you know, and that's the cool thing about getting to do what we do. You know, we run some cool shows that they provide entertainment, they provide education, they provide maybe even comfort, all that. Yeah.
You know, that's a good point. Is we for the Michigan Bros Grow Show, we did on the weekend for Christmas. We did a wake and bake on Christmas Eve, and then we did also an episode, regular Bro Show live at 9. We did that on Christmas, and it was like we were talking the panel amongst ourselves and about whether we were going to do a Christmas show or not. And I said, you know what, man, there's got to be like one person out there. There's got to be one person out there that's like running solo that could use a little bit of community and a little bit of conversation and maybe a little bit of comedy relief, man. So
you did a lot for me that evening. You guys,
there you go, man.
You guys did. Unfortunately, my sisters, they live in Nashville, Michigan, not Nashville, Tennessee. They live in Nashville, Michigan. And they got sick with the flu and COVID and all that right before Christmas. Just my luck. You know, my grandmother passed away 10 years ago, and my grandpa and me, since she passed, we haven't done anything for Christmas. So I haven't had a real Christmas in over 10 years. And, you know, I was looking forward to it. I was going to drive down. Then we got hit with all that, what they call the snow blizzard we had. And you know, on that, on top of them getting sick, it canceled the whole event, and I didn't get to go down there. And I'm like bummed out, and I'm like stuck in the house because everything's shut down. I can't even work because everything's shut down. And I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm bored. I can't go nowhere. And then you guys popped on with the show, and I'm like, finally, something to do, somebody to listen to. And you guys did it for me, you know. That it made it so that I didn't feel like I was by myself, you know. And it wasn't like I tell everybody including my sisters that live down south, I say, you know, it's not about the gifts under the tree, it's about the people around it for me now. Like everybody kept asking what I wanted, and all I wanted was to be with my family, you know. That was literally it. The story dropped before Dick's, I can't even pronounce the last word. Medible. Okay. All right. A lot of these terms are new to me, like you said. You know, some of these terms people don't understand. You know.
Oh yeah.
I came from a small town originally where I grew up. A lot of people don't even know it. I came from a town called Holton, and it's not Holton Lake. Holton. One blinking light for the whole town. We got a gas station, a grocery store, a fire department, a post office, and a library, and then the school, and that's it. Like, small town, like all agriculture. A lot of Amish live on the outskirts, and a lot of corn. And yeah, so a lot of growers here, believe it or not. It's pretty cool. It's definitely unique to know. You know, my parents, they aren't smokers or growers now, but they were when I was kids, and I called them because I remember busting them out. We had big terracotta plants in our living room, like the plant, like 5-foot pots.
Oh, hell yeah. In the living room?
Yes, no bullshit. And
Did you guys have a light
they had them old clip shop lights you'd find in the garage over them with the silver shade on it with the clip, and they had it clipped to a bamboo stake that was in there, and it was over the plant as it grew. And they used to tell us kids not to touch it, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then we lived in a farmhouse that I lived in a big farmhouse on 80 acres, and we lived on a farm. And I actually lived in a town at the time called Hesperia, and a lot of people call it Hespetucky because it's real redneck.
Hespetucky, come on, bro.
Yeah, yes, swear to God. And you can Google that one and thank me later. You want to see the redneckest stuff you ever seen in your life? Go to Hespetucky.
So what's the next big city? Like, where are we geographically? Let's hook this up for Uncle Rick out there if he happens to catch this in replay. Show me geographically on your hand where this is located.
Okay. All right. Let's see if I can do this because it's going to be bad.
Wrong hand.
Well,
there you go.
I'm trying to do it here. It's backwards for me.
Okay.
Okay. I'm over here. So you got to go up about right here. So,
what's our next big city?
The next biggest city for people that live in that town, they usually, you know, I'm in what they call Muskegon County, but a lot of people go to Newaygo County, which then they go up to what they like for shopping. A lot of them go to Big Rapids or they'll go to Cedar Springs.
A whole bunch of like places I've never been before.
Yep. Okay. And it's Big Rapids is pretty popular. I mean, that's Fair State University. That's the Bulldogs. That's football city, you know.
Well, Fair State was party school back in my
It still is, yeah. Like, I've been to block parties back in the day. Just a story to off venture here. I won't go too far, but we went to a block party when I ran a company called Michigan Evening Out. That we were an entertainment and nightlife guide for West Michigan.
What's the name of that again? What do you call that? Entertainment?
Yep, Michigan Evening Out, and MI Evening Out. My personal Facebook page, if you guys find me, is I Enjoy My Evening Out. And you'll find a lot of my photo work over there, but I haven't posted in probably a year, so you're not going to find anything recent. Yep. And I ran that company, and long story short, we did photography and stuff all over, and we went up to what they call an icebreaker, which is when two of the biggest rivals come to town and they compete against each other. And I don't remember what school it was they were playing. I think it was Northern Michigan or Central. They were playing at the time. Actually, it was Central now that I remember. And it was right around New Year's. And so we went up there and they had a block party. And what we did is we went from basically condos is what I call them, but maybe they were townhouses or dorms. I don't know. But they lived in them. I never got to experience that type of college. I went local, and you could go from garage to garage because they had garages on these places. And like one would have a guy scratching the CDs and he was DJing and had a TV on the wall.
Shit. Okay.
And the next one, you don't know what vibe you were having. So we wanted to come in as high rollers. I'll admit it. And, you know, I had 10,000 followers on my Facebook page at the time. I was making an impact in West Michigan at the time, and especially as a photographer. And I bought a bottle of Cristal. It was the thing back then. You had to have a bottle. So we all pitched in. We were selling it $20 a shot, and people were lining up. I shit you not.
You
And
made
that's
your
just
money back then.
Oh, we made more than our money back that night.
There you
yes.
go. If anybody's got a get rich quick scheme, let's go grab a bottle of Cristal and go hang out in the parking lot at your local evening entertainment place and get back.
Yep. So definitely, you know, that's just some fun stories along the way with me and stuff. So I guess I want to know more about your growing style, though. I kind of haven't heard a lot about it. Are you a soil grower? Do you do hydroponic? How do you grow for yourself?
So typically, I like to do living soil indoors and out. But originally, I started off as a cocoa grower. This would be 11 years ago. And I also dabbled in some deep water culture for a while. In fact, that would be my thing I've been thinking about is like, dude, if I just took one fucking plant and had it in a 4x4, and I vegged it decent, and then I tossed it into DWC, I would be able to pump out close to like 12 ounces, maybe a pound off of this one plant. You know what I mean? And then that would, I would be straight because I would ride into outdoor season again, you know, because it's just me. It's not like I'm putting on the whole fucking town. I'm not a caregiver. I'm strictly a medical patient in Michigan. I'm allowed to grow my 12 plants for medical, and I'm also allowed as an adult for adult usage in Michigan. I'm also allowed to grow 12 other plants, which gives me a total plant count of 24, which for one person, bro, that allows you to back up all your genetics that you want to, and you can flower more than enough for it. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Like, you can find cultivars that will scratch whatever itch you have medically. And at the same time, you have enough where, you know, for me, sometimes if I find that the best strains are those that are the ones that don't yield that much. So even in a system where I'm allowed to cultivate that many, I'm still should be flush. I want to give a shout out to Spartan Grown. He has been a friend of mine for several years now, and it's funny, we've passed this GG4 cut back and forth from him to me. He got rid of it for a while. I passed it back to him. He's holding on to it because I moved. That's the only reason I got rid of it. And he's going to give it back to me. He took the clone for me already. So I'm really, really stoked. And I guess if you wanted to go back to like some interview thing, the desert island strain that you're only allowed one strain and one strain only to be your silver bullet, mine would unequivocally be GG4.
You know, and that was we started a new series. It's kind of fun. I'm trying to get the audience more interacted with the show. And I'm an 80s baby that fell in love with the 90s. Let's put it that way. A lot of people do. They like the culture, the music, whatever. And so we started the TGIF. And it's not thank God it's Friday. It's think growing is fun. And every week I throw a short out on Friday morning and ask a question. And just ask it. Yeah. And I asked everybody if, you know, they got stuck on an island with one strain for the rest of their life, either growing or smoking, what would it be? And I heard so much GG4 today, it made my head spin because GG4 for me personally, just me personally, is so played out that it's ridiculous. And I'm not trying to be mean to people.
No, it's not at all. I find that there are just as many people as are ardent supporters of the powers of fucking glue. There are just as many people that like, they give me almost that Blue Dream look. You know, like if you say you like Blue Dream, people give you that look like, bro, come on.
And see, I am a Blue Dream guy. That I use for my headache. I use it for my headaches. I treat it as Tylenol.
Did you find a cultivar that helps you with that?
Yes. I use Captain Redbeard's Blue Dream has been phenomenal for me.
Wow. You know what? I may need to make a trip over to the west side of the state and grab a cut of that, man. I suffer from some.
I could probably arrange to send you a pack. I can probably get you a pack, and you could just sprout it and grow it yourself. It would be easier. I can probably talk to Captain and have him send you a couple testers. It shouldn't be a problem.
You know, it's funny. I see in chat, Becca says Citric or Rainbow Driver for me. Becca, you know that Rainbow Driver would be my second.
Yes.
The only reason I wouldn't take Rainbow as my primary one is because it's like phenomenal. It's sticky. Look, I love this shit so much. You see this little tiny bit in my jar? That's all I have left of the famed Rainbow Driver. And I'm clutching onto that shit for dear life.
And I've had about I think I bought 8 ounces at one time from Sequence.
Of the Rainbow? Oh, Street?
Yes, back in the day. Yes.
Oh.
And I also have, and I said it in you guys' chat the other night. You guys might not remember this, but I have a very rare. It's a numbered pack. I'd have to go back and look, but it's a purple foil pack of GMO PP that I got from Sequence, and I've grown it a few times, but
really?
Yeah, it's one of you guys'. It might have been a grow off or something you guys did, but
wait a minute. Was it some 2020 gear? So that was it pineapple? Would it be pineapple Thai and sour strawberry D?
No, it's not that.
It's not that PTSD.
No.
Oh, I know what it is. It's Medgrower 1.
Okay.
It's his garlic punch, right?
I think it is, yes.
Dude,
yes.
How good am I to call it off of like, wait a minute, what's he talking about? Hold on, wait a minute. And then flip the mental Rolodex, man.
Yep. And I got a pack of it, and I grew a few of them outdoor, but I got a few left for indoor. I haven't done anything with them yet.
Hey, look, shout out to Fagroli, because this is garlic punch right here.
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, I guess we should do a dab or something like that. I know on usually the shows that I do a hash time on the hour, but we've been kind of riffing back and forth.
Yep.
I'm sure chat wouldn't mind if I just kind of rang the bell and we sort of did.
Let's see if I can do something here. I haven't gotten anything really going here because I'm new to the software, but let's see what this does.
Should we have a soccer game? We
got a soccer game. We got let's see here.
No, that's for my bad patter in the openings of the show and the closings, man.
Yep, there's all kinds of weird little things on here. I'm still learning.
I'm over here heating this fucking antique up. Cheers, everybody.
Yep, definitely. Hey, that's awesome. You know, I'm only a flower guy. Unfortunately, my lungs can't handle dabs, but hey, I'll partake as much as I can here. I usually end up either breaking my joint or it goes out because I end up talking too long. Yep.
Woo.
Yep. Like Rusty said, we don't need a reminder. You do what you got to do. Definitely. Definitely. So, the Michigan Grow Bro show, how long has that been going for you guys now?
The Michigan Bros Grow Show. We started that 4/20 of 2019. So we were coming up on our 4-year anniversary. We started off as a podcast, and we have content on Spotify and all the other podcast platforms from our older interviews, which is kind of cool. If you're a fan of the show, if you've never gone back and checked those out, most of the panelists that we have done an interview with us in the past. So like Red has a really cool interview in the very beginning. Spartan has a 2-part interview with us in the beginning.
Wow. I have to check that out.
Yeah, it's a lot of cool shit. You know what I mean? We did Abolish as our first episode. Eagle is our second. And then let's see. Hold on. You know what? While we're just riffing here.
Yeah, why not?
I should look up what our actual. Oh, let's see. Technology.
Collective Mary Jane keeps hearing about the Bubba. Yeah, definitely. If you guys are looking to get some Bubba of some sort, the Bubba cheesecake that awesome. We got a new subscriber. Thanks, guys. But definitely, yeah, back to what I was saying, Seaman has the Bubba cheesecake, which is I'd have to check on the exact cross, but I know one of the strains is Cinderella 99. And
Cindy 99 is medicine.
Yeah. And these fan leaves, before I did a full-out strip like I like to do, I can tell you that these fan leaves were bigger than my head, and it indoors. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a grower, and it's doing good. But my temperatures, they had some fluctuation there, and the whole stalk turned purple because of the fluctuation. So it's got some color in it now. It's definitely been a unique one.
Oh yeah. So I went to our Spotify, and let's see. So like episode 1 was Abolish Farms. Episode 2 is Eagle Gardens. 3 was Bad Bunny Nutrients. Then we did something we called episode 0, which was just me and Sequence talking, riffing back and forth. 4 was Kyle Gardner. 5 is Old Man Hermit Hash. 6 is Spartan Grown 1. Then Spartan Grown 2. Then we did Detroit Nutrient Company.
Okay.
Duncan from Zen Products. Michigan Matt when he was working with Mitten Canico.
Yep.
Easy Swap Pots for Growly. Lovely Ladies Who Trim. Adam from 2020. Mendocino. Medgrower 1. There's Red's. Anybody that wants to know what Red's episode was, it's the lucky number 17.
Nice.
18 was Dab Smith. Shout out to him. 19 was Maze and Grew. Then we had Canna Kate. Country Roots was episode 22. You talked about that earlier, right?
I didn't know he was on there. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Canna Kitten and MI No-Till Guy. They were episode 25. Babes and Buds podcast, another fellow Michigan podcaster. She's cool.
You know that the rare one you got there. I hate to say it. Is Eagle. So many people have been trying to get him on lately. He's not ready to go back on. He's not.
Well, the thing is that I'll talk about this for a few minutes. I want to give a humongous shout out to Eagle Gardens, and here's why. He is honestly the first person that I really met in the community. He was working for Subcool. And so at the time, I was interested in getting some Pennywise because it was purported to be a 1-to-1 THC to CBD. So I got a hold of him through Instagram, and there was it was one of those cannabis events that we were having in Clio at the time. This is like 4 years ago, 5 years ago now.
Okay.
It was cool because I got a chance to talk to him, and he seemed like a really good dude, man. He hooked me up with what I needed to. So then I seen him at the next event. He was working the booth for Sub. I rolled up on him, and I was like, "Hey, Eagle," because this is the timeline. Well, this would be 4 years ago now. So the first time would be 5 years, then 4.
Okay.
And I was like, "Hey, if there was a show that focused on like Michigan cannabis and people and products and shit, would you watch it?" And he goes, "Hell yeah, I would watch that." I was like, "Fuck yeah." So like we had talked back and forth, and Eagle is an original member of the actual Bro Show Live show. He's an OG. Man, you know. And I've always had nothing but love for him. I love what he's done. I love how much content that he has put out just consistently day after day after day after day, guest after guest after guest. But it's like, again, we're going to go back to that umbrella that you get to stand underneath and talking about Rusty and those side conversations and shit.
Yep.
Sometimes, man, insomnia is real. Sometimes you just can't sleep. Sometimes you got to work that weird shift. Sometimes you just need a little bit of people time, man. And so that's where these shows are great for these side conversations. And that's where you can come with real-time questions for, you don't even got to worry about what Jay and I are saying up here. Like, it doesn't even really matter,
Exactly. Ego is the one that broke me into the industry. He's the one that got me to tell my story. He met me at Big Cloud Farms. Like I keep telling everybody, I went there as media. I've done media since I was 16 years old in the entertainment industry. So like, I don't get nervous doing that. And I don't get nervous around celebrities like most people do. I'm so calm that people think,
dude, Dude,
So,
don't call him a celebrity. He would not be pleased if you.
Oh no, I
referred to
know.
him as a celebrity.
I'm not right. But I'm saying like people in general, like any celebrities. Like I hung out with Mindo and them this summer. I met Cottonmouth Kings.
You know what? They're just people that are part of the
Yep.
community too. And
Exactly.
like, what do you bring into match? What are we?
Yep.
What do you got?
Exactly. Well, when Mindo hand me the joint and I'm looking at it and I'm like, is this real right now? Like, and he says, are you gonna fucking hit it? And I said, well, fuck yeah, hit it to me. You know, like I couldn't believe it. You know, like you just can't believe it. You know, and people are so humble. You know, that's what I love about this industry. And Ego's the one that got me to tell my story and so on. And then you know we had Chad Westport and Ted Hussey on for
Shout
Dope
out
History.
to Chad for sure. Another
and then
good
he
vibes person in the community.
definitely, and he hit me up off air and he says, you know, can you get a hold of Ego and see if he wants to come do Dope History? And I tried, but Ego's not ready yet. So it is what it is.
You got to realize how much content he's putting out. It's like,
yeah,
you know, he's got a lot of people that are like banking on him to keep that umbrella open at night. And it's like, bro, it's kind of hard for me to do your show because then I'm taking away from, you know, all the people from the Eagles Nest.
Right. Yep. Exactly. And he does great. You know, I actually, I hate to say it, I go to sleep listening to Ego at night because I can't stay up for the whole
You're gonna
show.
learn through osmosis, man. Just so
something. You know, I wake up and it's playing more old episodes, and it's like his voice is like, I hate to say it, it's like a spirit in my sleep because like I hear it all night and I'm like
the ghost of Eagle Gardens, apparently.
Right, yeah, but he's always on and I get to watch it and then I get tired and I roll one and then you know I finally lay down about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes he'll be going till 2, 3, 4 in the morning. One night he was going till 5.
Sometimes he comes through with like an extra, you know, weed nerd episode. It's like,
okay.
Oh, fuck yeah, man. So
yeah, I just I don't know how that man sleeps because
I don't know. You know, we're talking about channels and shit.
Yep.
Recently, I want to give a shout out to all of the I know this sounds corny, but I want to give a shout out to everybody that's a subscriber to the Michigan Bros Grow Show. We recently hit 5,000 subscribers, and we have 570 videos on our channel.
Wow, that's impressive.
So if you get deep in like trim jail, you can always come listen to your third favorite grow show and hang out with us.
Definitely. You know, we just hit 5,000 views on YouTube, which isn't a lot yet, but hey, that's 5,000 people that's watched our show. You know, that's a lot of people for me coming from a small town, and we're slowly getting there. You know, like Chad said to me, he said, you know, the difference between you and some of these bigger channels, he was talking about me, is he says, you know, you're organic, you're not buying views, you're not. And I'm like, he's like,
no, dude, we've never bought a view.
I know you guys haven't, but I'm saying like in general, he was talking some of the bigger channels, and I was like, I never knew people even did that. And he's like, yeah, you'd be surprised. He said, you know, keep it organic because then your audience loves what you got to say.
Well, I'm more about the community than I am about my view count, right? So I would rather have fucking 10 people that come hang out for every show and come in with positive vibes than I would have 450 people where the chat's going quick and there's really no time for anybody to interact or anything, and it's just roll. Like, I feel like at that point I would be losing part of what I intended for it to become and to be a part of. So, you know, maybe it is a self-limiting thing, and that's okay, man. We usually, I don't know, for a live show, we usually get about somewhere between 100 to 150 people live hanging out under the umbrella.
Now you take that and you pictured that, okay, and this is the way I do it. I know that sounds weird, but I picture reality. So you put them 100 people, you guys go rent a hall and you put on an event with 100 people. You guys are going to have a hell of a time, I'm telling you.
Great time, man.
Yes.
Great time.
Yes, and that's just like how Chris, you know, I've been to a lot of Chris from Country Roots events here in Muskegon that he puts on, and it's the same vibe. Him and Michigan Gyms and Genetics, and I seen that Red's going to be there April 29th. They're going to be doing an event out here in Muskegon. We're going to come through. We're going to be there. I'm going to get some footage. I'm hoping by then. I'm trying to look into new camera equipment because my stuff is
What are you using right now?
I'm using my phone.
Okay. Well, what's your phone? You got an iPhone? You got an Android?
It's an S22 Ultra.
Okay. So the camera's decent then.
Yeah, and it's pretty sad that the camera is more megapixels than my DSLR that I used to use for professional photography.
Sure, but I mean that DSLR is probably 15 years old too. So the technology and the ability to, edit these videos on the phone itself is definitely easier than you would ever think.
Definitely. I always have a good time seeing you, Red, and I'm excited to see you guys. I love to smoke your flower. You guys always come with good product,
Out of all the stuff that Red has, what's your favorite thing that him and Becca grow?
Oh, there's so many, but I'm a Purple fan. I like his GDP. I like his GDP, and he had it in these. I can't even think the name of it. I contacted the company and I never got anything back. I was trying to think of the name. They look like blunts, but they're like a raw, but they're not nicotine. They're non-nicotine because I'm allergic to the consumption of nicotine, and it causes me to break out in a hot Futurola. Yep, thanks, Red. Becca, sorry. Definitely, yep, Futurola.
Yeah, I've had those before.
And phenomenal flavor. I didn't know they were terpene infused, but regardless, I smoked like 4 or 5 of them in one setting.
Ooh, you got fucking on the GDP, bro.
He gave me a couple different ones. I think I did GDP.
I don't think, I'll be honest with you, the GDP hash that I still have from him is super aged and stuff, and I really have to be careful about using it for hash time because it's like taking an RSO dose. Like, oof, it's end of the show shit, man. So
yeah, definitely.
Get a blunt of that, man. Oof.
Like Red Eye Rustler said, Becca and Red said they have that adventures going on in their backyard, and now Becca's got her channel going too, and it's
go
awesome.
over to Rosemary's Oasis.
Yes, definitely, because I'm kind of like, in a sense, I kind of got the same mindset as another guy that I follow, Mr. Grow It, in a sense, to how he wants to re-educate, but not just on cannabis. I would love to venture out into other plants too. I grew up growing a lot of organic plants in my backyard on our farm and stuff like that. But we didn't do anything with we were so simplistic, even growing the plants, like I explained last night. We just had a compost pile with our kitchen scraps out in the backyard. And then we trucked in 5 truckloads of cow manure from a local farmer. And then I did 5 truckloads of topsoil that was high quality screened from a local nursery. And we buried fish that we caught when we'd go fishing. And that was it. I mean, and that's how I got that big plant you guys will see me next to the ladder on, is because I just followed them fundamentals, and then I started talking to Mindo Dope, and I kind of did like I did with you with all the questions. I just started asking and bugging them. I bugged them so much, in the beginning, that I think they got sick of it, and they replied to shut me up because I just wanted a reply. I was mesmerized by these massive plants that I've never seen in my life. And then next thing you know, I'm growing one, and I'm like, well, here we go.
So here's our breadcrumb. You talked about your mix, very simplistic, 3-part basically. So tell me, how deep did you have to put those fish that you caught so that you didn't have any scavengers like raccoons or other shit trying to dig that up and fuck with the plant?
My grandpa was the smart one on that, and we followed his standard because he used to do it in our vegetable gardens too. And we used to have a tunnel. I know most people are like, well, okay, I can think of a tunnel. We had a tunnel of grapes. Literally, he built a trellis that was a tunnel, and this thing was big enough you could pull a car under it. And it was all grapevines, and he started just feeding it fish. And we bury it on a standard, depending on how soft the soil was, how fresh it was, 18 to 24 inches.
Okay.
And
So it's down a ways then.
yes, and,
Okay.
and it would decompose and break down. And what he would do is, so it wouldn't break down as fast, is he was laying some kind of fern leaves in there. And
Okay.
I guess it would just, so it'd be a layer between the soil and that. So it would break down too. And it was really cool, because the fern leaves would break down and they would kind of, because they were green, I'm sure they had some, maybe not a lot, but I'm sure they had a trace
There's
of
some nitrogen in there. Yeah, there's a bunch of nitrogen in there.
Yeah.
So is it one fish per plant?
One fish per plant is what he'd do, but then we got to the point when we got them big, we were doing one on each side.
You just dig straight down and then just shove it down in there like a steak.
Yep.
Fish steak almost, right?
Yeah. And in the summer sometimes,
did you freeze it
find
first?
The bones.
Pound it in the ground?
Okay. Yep. We always froze them solid. Like they were literally like blocks of ice. It was ridiculous. Yeah. And that was how he did it. I'm surprised somebody else actually knew his tactics. Not a lot of people know that.
I just guessed, bro.
Definitely.
Be intuitive. Yeah.
He was very, 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 very odd on some of his tactics. Like some of them didn't make sense. Like when he.
But think about this fish thing. That's like super ancient tech. Like they've been doing that for 15, 20,000 years, I'm sure.
Yes.
And it's like
kind of like
we're just buying fish emulsion. You know what I mean? That's all it is.
Yep. Like Rusty said, it was a refillable to an extent. Yeah, he would basically make sure that it was lightly covered to where you could basically uncover it and put anything else in there you needed.
Oh yeah.
I've seen him line the hole with not just ferns, but I've also seen him do it with garden fabric. That kind of keeps the bugs and stuff out too, but it has well drain.
Something that I would recommend as like an outdoor grower, something that I used that was really, really cheap to add as an amendment, and I felt like it really made a difference, was gypsum.
Yes, I've used that.
Gypsum, it brings the sulfur with it, and the sulfur brings the terps, man. And so when I build my soil in the very beginning, I had a really fucking generous portion of that.
Definitely. A lot of people don't know, a lot of people know of Grand Rapids. I'm sure you've heard of it too. Grand Rapids actually has gypsum mines under the city. Mm-hmm. And in the winter, you can watch the manhole covers steam out, and it's not from the sewer. It's from the mines and stuff. And it's insane. Like, I never knew it until I seen pictures. And then we went there on a field trip, and I was like, wow.
Like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the salt mines along Detroit too. It's kind of cool. Same way.
I didn't know that. That's something I didn't know. Definitely. Yeah. Gypsum is really, really good. I've seen people use Epsom. I've seen people use gypsum. I've seen.
And every case is sulfur, man. That's all. You know what I mean?
Yep. I've used. I now, as far as fish emulsion goes, we now use fish shit by Fish Head Farms. We work with them, and that works out pretty good. But for the indoor, and
for the indoor,
yep. I used to use powdered. Does it work? I don't know. This is his tactics. We use powdered coconut. Like people would use molasses to sweeten it up. We use powdered coconut.
Let me drop a few things here. Is part of my IPM that I like to do. I like to try to run through different things. So I'll do like I use both sulfur and come through after that, and then I'll hit them with like soap nuts. So soap nuts are really, really cheap. You can buy them on Amazon. You buy a bag of them for like $20 and they'll last you years because you literally just drop one soap nut in your spray bottle, add water to it, shake it up, and it's a really good source of saponins for your plant. So this is where Red gets to say, what did the one soap nut say to the other? What's happening? And then I like to use freeze-dried aloe powder.
I use aloe too.
I use a quarter teaspoon of that into a spray bottle, and I also add a quarter teaspoon of freeze-dried coconut water.
Okay.
Yeah, so both of those together.
Yep.
And,
I use the powdered aloe. Typically, call me weird. I guess everybody's got their own technique. That's what makes it unique. I would mix my powdered aloe in with my water, and when I would water, I would let it uptake that way. And
it's all good.
And yep. And then I would use what else was it? I would use powdered kelp.
Yep.
And that stuff is phenomenal. And
so powdered kelp is cool, but you have to remember that there's a couple of things about kelp. Brandon Rust would fucking say that you have to really make sure that you get responsibly sourced kelp, because there is a chance for it to have high mercury levels in it. We know that cannabis is a remediator and carries all that good shit. So want to be careful on that. The second thing about kelp is, even though it's great, I think it's for auxins, if I'm not mistaken. But the key being that it creates more branching on the plant, which is cool. It creates more sites, but at the same time, you don't want to create too many sites, because that's what your boy Skilbo did when I was the newbie grower. I was like, well, some sites are good and then more sites are better, but then that just makes a whole plant full of fucking larfy shit rather than like some substantial buds. And it can also interfere with flowering, so you have to make sure that you don't use it too long. Cheers,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I haven't used it in quite some time. I got a closet full of newts. Like, I've tried so many different brands along the way. I originally started out with General Hydroponics.
That's what I did too, bro.
No, I got the gift box, the whole box. Like, it was like
it's the little sampler one. Yeah, it has the 3-part in it. It had like Floralicious Plus and all that other shit.
It was too much for me. I didn't like it.
When I started growing, I started off with, I'd never really grown anything.
Right.
Excuse me. And so when I got my card, I have my card for a litany of reasons, but mostly because I have fibromyalgia as a qualifier.
Yeah.
And I use cannabis exclusively as my medicine. Now, I do dabble in a few other plant medicines, but I take no prescriptions. And I told myself that, hey, man, I'm going to try to get a clone. And I got really excited because I got my hands on this little papaya clone from Nirvana. And it's like a really small plant in general. And I was not a good grower. And I told myself, dude, if you can get 2 ounces off this one plant, then you need to fucking go all in on this, because every 8 weeks, I'm thinking like I can get if I get 2 ounces and that's 8 weeks flower, then it gives me 1 ounce a month. I can parse that out into a quarter a week. I had it all figured out, right? So lo and behold, when I finished that first grow, it really was over 2 ounces. And then, so I told my wife at the time, she was like, hey, go for it. Because this is when, like, for me to get a medical ounce was like $300 if you went to a dispensary, if you go that way. Now, if you have a caregiver, you may be able to get out the door for $200 or $150, but that adds up again. So why not do it myself? And then there was, the added bonus of the, I call it the plant therapy for me, to not just be in there with the life and the growth of the plant, but underneath the bright lights, and it's warmer in there. It's good for my old bones. And just getting into like the zen of gardening.
Definitely.
And finding that, when the lights come on, I'd want to go run in there and check out.
I treat mine like a pet. I swear. Like, I'm so excited to get home to him, because I live alone. I hate to say it. I live alone and I work alone. I'm always alone, like I told you in the pre-show. And so my dog died right before my grandpa. I had him for 17 years. And so I lost everything that year. And I get home and I get to my grow, and I'm like, it's like taking care of kids. It's like awesome. And I just love it, and it brings out so much out of me. Like, it really does. And the same thing, my grandfather was the same way with when we grew outdoors. Like, he used to call me up on my lunch break just to tell me he watered the garden. Like, he was 80 and he lost my grandma, and he was lonely, but it was awesome. And we had cameras on it, and everything else. So I could sit there and like watch him I wish I could have kept some of that footage. I never thought to, you know, because that would have been real legacy to give back to. But hey, you know, I didn't think of it at the time, but definitely, you know, to see it change people's life. Like I said, he was so weird. Hey, I got some stuff like that. Hold on a minute here.
Cheers, chat.
Definitely. Here we go. I got a little, this is from an earlier show of ours last year. A woman actually hand carves these out of coconut. And it's a bowl, bong, whatever you want to call it. It don't have a screen in it, but I got like 4 or 5 different ones here that are just for looks. They're just conversation pieces.
Amen.
But yeah, definitely, it's been fun. We've had a lot of different things. You know, I definitely want to come to you guys this side of the state this year and check out some of them events. I'm gonna go to a lot of the big cloud ones this year, but we're definitely out to network and meet people and stuff like that. And
we just keep circling around this fucking community thing, man.
Right. Yep.
And
exactly.
It's like these days, you know, it's as we get older, you know what I mean? It's easy to lose contact with people. And it's easy to let the days turn into weeks, turn into months, turn into years. And it's like, it's not like you don't care about those people anymore and they don't care about you. It's just, it's hard to link up. Definitely.
You know, and it's even hard to link up with some of your own family to the point, you know, my own mom lives 45 minutes away and she hasn't been to my house and I've lived here a year. I mean, they're just too busy.
Well, you know, at the same thing, you know, you can't always chase after people. Sometimes,
right? Yeah.
Sometimes you got to remember, hey, motherfucker, my phone rings too.
Exactly. Well, that's what happened. You know, they were mad at me because I wasn't talking to them, and then it's like, okay, the phone works both ways. So then I tried, and then you don't hear from them. Finally, you got to cut ties, not fully, but like to the point that it's like beating a dead horse. So. Definitely, but
all things in all time, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check out the Third Eye Craft Fair, like you guys said. Definitely, you know, I've been to the what was it over there? I delivered over there. I used to deliver produce as a semi driver. Lansing, but over by you guys, like I've been to. I think it's called East Town Market. I used to
Eastern Market is in
Eastern
Detroit.
Market. Yep. Yeah. I used to deliver all their produce for them.
That's where you go, man, for the freshest of the fresh, man, every day.
Yep. And we'd bring it down from up here, from the farms, and bring it down to them so they could do it fresh down there.
That's a cool day just to spend driving there and back. You know what I mean? Unload and roll back.
It was fun, but there was a lot that wasn't fun. You know, we used to do meat too. So I'd pull 80,000 pounds of meat down to Detroit to Wolverine, USA, which you'd think they deal with meat. Yes, they do. And Wolverine, the way where the warehouse is, you got to back in right off the alley, right off the street. And it's like a 90 and cars are coming and nobody's stopping. And then cars are parked on the side of both sides of the street. And you're like, trying to get your
officially sucks, man.
Yeah, you're trying to get you don't go down there with a 53-foot trailer because you ain't gonna have enough room. But you might end up you might get down there with a 28 and still have to cut it. And you
gotta pull your mirrors in, man, and ease in there.
Well, that's what I was getting to. The truck next to me was a Gordon Food Service truck, and I just so happened to corner hit with my trailer. The corner hit his mirror and bent it off. But he was in the warehouse, you know. So I unloaded.
Of course, you ran like hell and got out.
And I came back out. I bent it back, run like hell. Well, when I left the company, you know,
if that dude is listening. You know who it was. If it's one of the 13 of you, Well, it can't
Yeah.
be 13. I'm one of them. So
Yeah, I left the company, and then next thing you know, their insurance company calls me a few months later and asks me about the incident, and it says they had it on camera and everything, and I didn't remember it, and I'm like, no, I don't remember that, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we got it on camera, so we'll figure it out, and this and that. We're just trying to assess the damage, and I'm like, well, I don't even work there no more. Right. Yeah, I'm like, I don't work there no more, so I don't know what to tell you, but. I mean, I was new, I drove semi over the road for 8 months before my grandpa got bad. So I wasn't out there a long time, but I got to see everything from the Jersey Turnpike to Pennsylvania we were doing apple runs out there. It was ridiculous.
I thought you were going to say we were doing acid out there.
No. But I learned a lot about produce, and that plant goes into a lot of other stuff with plants too, and our broccoli comes from China. People, you didn't hear that from me. Oops. Yeah, and it's just reboxed in a U.S. box. You're getting in the winter. You're getting China.
We're getting broccoli. White label broccoli, guys.
Yes. I promise you are. I watched the Mexican workers, the immigrants that we had.
Now, the broccoli mafia is for real now. They will.
Yes. We had this lady, she was in her 80s. She didn't speak a lick of English, and they put me out on the floor before I became a driver to learn produce. And I'm out there with all the people that don't speak English, and nothing against anybody. And I'm trying to communicate, and I'm from a...
You don't speak Spanish, right?
No, not very much. Very little. I know very little. And I know enough to say hello, a couple cuss words, and call them crazy. And that's about it.
Well, wait a minute. We started off on the right foot, but now I guess that's why we don't need any more words, because now we've transgressed into like fisticuffs and shit. We've insulted them.
Yep. And
now we're tussling.
Right. And these guys thought I was crazy. They were calling me Wedo, which is crazy. They kept saying, you're Wedo, white boy, because you're going to drive truck in 3 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to drive the truck in 3 weeks. I'm going to be backing in that dock right there, and you guys are going to be loading me up. And they didn't believe me. Well, semi-school was 2 weeks long, but it took me 2.5 because I couldn't back the trailer up. I never backed anything up in my life, not even a boat trailer. Amen. Not even anything. And I did it. I did it. And I went on the road for 8 months over the road, and I was going up all the way up to the UP to the bridge, all the way out to Jersey Turnpikes. I got shut down in Pennsylvania in a snowstorm. I mean,
see what Rusty said.
I hit mirrors. Yes, that wasn't the only thing I hit. I can tell you the worst thing I hit, and we might as well talk about it.
Careful now. Is the statute of limitations up on this? Is this
Yes. I got a misdemeanor for it.
Shit, I was just fucking around, bro.
But it got dropped off my driving record. I got a clean record now, so I have nothing to worry about. It's been expunged. It's been removed. I was down in
Tokyo drifting that big truck.
Kinda. It's probably close to some of you guys down there. I don't know where everybody's from, but I was down in Fenville. I know precisely because I got ticketed there. I was in Fenville.
Paperwork to prove it.
I was in Fenville, Michigan, and we were getting off. I don't remember what highway number I was off of. I use GPS. I don't even pay attention to directions. Call me bad, but I don't. We're too technology advanced. I don't need to know where I'm going. I just need to make sure my phone or my GPS is plugged in and has signal. That's how I was. And long story short, I mean, I had my road atlas for emergencies, but long story short, I get out there and I get off the highway, and both the exits go to the right-hand lanes. And a 53 pulls in the left-hand lane, and I pull up next to him. So 2 53s, no room between them. You can imagine how close we are. A engineer, I shit you not, an engineer for GM driving a brand new Tahoe, brand new, decides he wants to try to get around us and go between the two trailers. Well, nobody knew he was there. So I make my right-hand turn, so does the left-hand lane. I ran down the side of his whole fucking car with my 53-foot trailer.
Hello.
Okay, that's not the worst part. That's not the worst part.
Did it make a great sound?
I didn't even know it. That's what I'm getting at. When you're driving these semis, you can't.
There I was, just going on my.
So I kept driving. Yes, I just kept driving and kept driving to the next town. I forget what town it was, and I had to.
Did you feel a different drag because like the side of your truck was gone and then it's
no. I look
in
in
the
my
wind and shit.
I look in my side mirror, my
I'm
driver's
imagining this
side mirror,
battleship with a hole in the side of it.
and he's still driving. It was still drivable. And he's still driving behind me, and he's flashing his lights. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm like, I am not stopping this truck for this guy until I get to my spot. And I get there. Yeah, no, he wasn't like that kind of mad. I get there, and I'm backing into this old little mom and pop grocery store, and it's owned by an Arabic family. I don't remember the town I was in. And I'm unloading, and this guy rolls in, and he's like, "You ran over the side of my truck." And I'm like,
"Oh shit, where?"
I'm like, "What? Where? I didn't feel anything. What the hell are you talking about?" And so I get out and I walk around the back of my trailer, and I tackled my right rear outer tandem wheel. Tandem is another word for axle.
Yeah,
right rear axle. Yep. And I tackled the outer rim and shredded the tire.
How long did you drive on that for after you clipped this dude?
About 50 miles. About 50 miles. No bullshit. And
Chad's gotta be dying right now.
And he gets there, and I unload, and he says, "I'm calling the police." I said, "Well, shit, I better call my dispatch." I call my dispatch, let him know. I call my boss, and he's like, "Settle down," and I'm flipping out. Because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my job. I'm a pothead. I ain't gonna lie. But I quit for driving. That's what I did do responsibly. I did. And I had a clear conscience, but I still I went back to smoking a little bit at night. So I knew there had to been some in my system,
Enough to get you knocked out of the job. That's what like 70% of truckers, like over the last 10 years, they've lost so many people, man. But you think about it, like as a trucker, you're sitting in a chair for hours and hours and hours. You're getting beat the fuck up. Like you absolutely could benefit from using cannabis in some form or another to like alleviate your pains and shit, man. Help you sleep, come off the road.
Well, and if you unload your own loads like I did, you're doing 12,000 steps a day. That's what I was doing according to my
12,000 laden steps. But when you take the tonnage and you add that to what you're already carrying with your frame, like that's a lot of workout, man.
Yeah.
Man wiry like that.
Yep. And because we pull into places like Gordon Foods Service or Meyer Distribution, and their distribution centers are bigger than malls. You wouldn't even believe it. More docks than you can count for as far as you can see. And they give you a number, and you go through gates, and it's high security, and it's ridiculous. They search your truck. It's ridiculous. But I can tell you.
Where's this at?
Meyer Distribution.
Yeah, where is that?
Lansing.
It's Lansing. Okay.
Yep. And when you get into the distribution there, I'll get back to the accident here in a minute. I kind of veered off.
We're just segueing off it. We're veering off of this accident for 50 miles, but I promise we'll come back to it.
Yep. So when you get to distribution, you go in a gate. The place is fully gated with barbed wire and everything. It's like going to a prison. You go in there, and then you go into a little hub office. And the hub office has bulletproof glass, like you're going into like a Quickie Mart, Frontier Mart.
There's going to be a shootout here.
Yes. And you pick up a phone, and then they ask what you're here, and you got to read numbers off your invoice paperwork. And then they tell you what dock you come in. So then you pull in another gate, and then they rip open the back because your truck is sealed with a stainless steel zip tie.
Yeah, it's a railroad tie. Yeah.
Yep. And they have to cut it, and you don't. They do. And then they go through and they make sure everything's good. And then you go to your dock, and then you have to sit and wait for what they call a lumper, which is somebody you have to pay. My company or me, I usually have to write a check. Lumper fees are $50 to $65, and they get I think they get like $40 of it, and the $25 of it goes to the company. So the guy gets $40 to unload my semi. And I don't know how it works. I never done that part. But anyway,
Sounds
then you
tough.
back in. You back in, and you're not even allowed to get out of your truck. You're not allowed to go to the bathroom, nothing. You have to stay in your truck. And they unload you, and then you leave.
For sure, because they want to make sure you get the fuck out of that spot because they got another truck that's got to get in there. You know what I mean?
I think it's quality standards, too. They don't want... They hold their produce to such a quality standard that I've had it where
I thought you were going to say they hold their men's room in such high standard that they don't want people pissing on the seats trying to race back out to the truck.
Right. But it's still such a high standard that they've rejected loads, and my company's been pissed because I have to bring it back, and then they have
to get paid.
We still get paid, but they have to eat it. They have to throw it away.
Well, in this instance, they won't be eating it, nor will anybody else, apparently.
Right, yep. But back to the accident. So the guy's flashing. I meet him in this grocery store parking lot as I'm unloading because I back in my dock. I didn't even realize my tire was broke because it was on the opposite side. And never felt it. And we called the police. I called my boss, blah, 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 blah. I'm down there in Fenville. And mind you, my dispatch is in Comstock Park, which is kind of by Grand Rapids. And I got a ticket because the bigger guy, the commercial driver, always gets ticketed. And I got ticketed for improper lane usage.
Because you broke your lane to swipe him. That's what they got you for.
Yep. And
I'm surprised they didn't issue for failure to yield the right of way or some shit.
Right. And he called GM. He called his big wig when he was there, and he's like, this is the third car I broke in 6 months like this. And I'm thinking,
oh, get your unlucky ass off the road, bro.
You're an engineer for GM, and they're trusting you with these cars, and this is the third one you broke. It had a manufactured plate on it. They didn't have registered to Michigan plate like a consumer or dealer or any. It strictly said manufactured.
Right. There's
and
no
I'm like,
out of this one.
Yeah, I'm like, just my luck. Well, then the cop comes and he's like, you could probably fight this. And I'm like, I'm 3 hours from home. I am not coming back down here. I will pay it. It was like $480 ticket. Oof. And it was like 3 points. And then I ended up getting a hold of my lawyer, and my lawyer's like, we can expunge this. And they did, and they threw it out, and they wiped it right clean. And I was like, well, there goes a bunch of money. But
sometimes you can get yourself out of a jam, though, that way. It's you got to pay to play for everything, man.
But when I got back, my grandpa and my brother at the time, they lived, this is more cannabis related here. We're making circle back now.
We're going to swipe back towards this, right?
Yep. You're not supposed to smoke and drive, DOT, all this. Mind you, I passed the DOT med exam with Monkey Whiz. Yes, I passed it. Don't tell me you can't. I've done it. And I can tell you that I did it the second time. So I did it before I got my job to get the job. And I did it when I got in an accident. And I passed, and I got lucky. But you heard that from me. I'm not in the industry like that anymore. I'm independent. I work for myself. So it's different now. But, it definitely, and them drivers are fighting for that. That's one thing in the union of it. They want to be allowed to partake in cannabis when not on duty.
Well, this is the thing, is that as of 2018, there is an adult usage law in Michigan. I kind of spoke about it earlier when I talked about the ability to grow 12 plants per household.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the key things, is that I just read some research this week online, and it was saying that in areas where adult usage has been made legal, codeine prescription usage has dropped.
Yes.
That's a fantastic corollary to make. And there's a lot of things like, I'm really, really close to 50 years old, and I have dealt with the things that I've dealt with for 25 years, right?
Ooh.
So if I were to have used prescription medication as was prescribed, how would my liver be at this point? What would I have as side effect issues over a cumulative usage of 2.5 decades?
Right.
You know what I noticed about cannabis after using it for, every single day, pretty much all day, okay, for probably, well, at least 11 years, at least.
Wow.
So, it is the closest thing that I've come to a silver bullet for me to help me with aches and pains. I was a cook for a really long time, sous chef, whatever you want to call it, right? And so that's working on your feet a lot. That's a lot of back and forth, rotaries, twisting and shit like that. And when you've got inflammation issues like that, it's really, really debilitating. So what I would do is I would get up at the ass crack of dawn every morning. And I would go downstairs in my basement and I would open YouTube up, and then I would type in some crazy gross shit, right? Yeah. And sit there and just roll joints and just fucking literally chain smoke joints until I literally had to leave. Like, okay, it's going to take me, 8 minutes to drive there. I'm going to leave at 10 in case I catch a stoplight, sort of shit.
Yep.
Like breezing into work. Now I'm good. I'm loosey goosey. I'm definitely in a much better mood after like 3 or 4 joints, and a cup of coffee. But it was my way to basically turn the lights on in the factory and warm the plant up before, I got to go into work and I got to deal with stress and
right.
Sometimes disagreeable customers or coworkers. And, you think about that, there's been no real proof that cannabis is the issue for driving in the way that alcohol can be.
Definitely. Because, and I hate to say this, I'm functioning. I smoke all day, every day, all day long. I have to, because I've been a medical patient since 2009. And I have alopecia, as I've talked about before. But the thing that people don't realize is I have flare-ups, inflammation flare-ups. But the thing is I can't take anti-inflammatories because they do the opposite in my immune system. They actually inflame me. And potatoes do it too. I'm not supposed to, and potatoes, starch. I'm not supposed to be eating starches. But cannabis, my doctor prescribed, he's retired now, my original doctor, and I got a new one. And I've been seeing him lately because I've been dealing with a lot of sinus issues. And he says to me, "Who prescribes that to you?" And I told him, my doctor. Why would he prescribe cannabis as medicine? And I explained to him, I weigh the most I've ever weighed in my life. My headaches are, lately they've been a little more. Ooh, definitely. Lime skunk. Yeah, definitely. Ooh. Have been a little bit more frequent. That's why I've been going to the doctor. But I used to get like 3 to 5 headaches a week, chronic sinus migraines. I have what they call sinus cluster headache syndrome. And they get so bad, it's like they can make me pass out. I've done it. I've blacked out from them, whatever. But they're bad. And there's no cure for it. Yeah. And they definitely, 420 is definitely around the corner.
Have you tried psilocybin for your migraines?
I haven't, no. But we're still fighting, because I got permanent postnasal drip. And I've been trying to get my doctor to do something to clear it up because it's ridiculous. And but I use cannabis not only to eat, to cause me to have an appetite, but I use it because it helps control the inflammation. Like when my hair grows back in, it literally, the only way I can explain it to somebody is imagine somebody sticking a burning red, glowing hot needle in your skin for every hair follicle you have on your body. That's what it feels like.
That's awful.
So it's very similar, my doctor said, and you would be able to relate. I know you will. to how people feel with fibromyalgia?
Oh yeah, there's always the burning fucking shit and the
Yes,
tingling and all that stuff. But
yes. And
I've always
cannabis
called it like
tends to suppress it.
like phantom or fake pain, because
Yep.
to me there's not an external reason for it. And in the beginning, it used to make me so angry, dude. I would be like,
Yes.
this fucking fake pain, man. This fucking fake
Yep.
pain. But then I had to realize it's like, no, you have nerve damage. You have issues and misfires, and so there's a whole bunch of problems that come along with that. But the pins and needles feeling, like, I don't know, it's, if you deal with it all day, every day, it's always there, but you don't notice it until you have a flare. And then it's like you're saying, like burning coals. It's like having a super bad sunburn on like whatever.
Like because you can see a little bit on my chin here. Like what I'll do is I'll be sitting there and then I'll get a flare up because I only have 2 spots.
You know, you
and I'll sit there and I'll go like that and I'll go like that, and then my hair's in my lap because it fell out, and it's like then it'll grow back and it does it again, and it's like,
Jay, I got to get you one of these roller balls, dude.
Okay,
that might actually fucking help. That's what it's one of the main things that I really started to do after I became good enough where it wasn't just eking out 2 ounces of plant, but when it got to the point where I'm consistently getting a 1/4 pound of plant, or I'm getting, I got lucky this time, I got a 1/2 pound of plant. So you have so much herb, and I'm old school. I'm not trying to get busted with, a bunch of pounds of fucking weed. It's like I can prove that I grew it all. So it was like, what can I do with this? And so I was like, well, I can make tincture out of it. So I started, really looking into how to do it. In the very beginning, I had purchased a magic butter machine.
I got one. Yep.
In the beginning, it was fantastic, man. It was like, it's a great way to get your feet in the water, and it will consistently give you product, and it doesn't take weeks. It only takes hours to do. But through the years, I've refined my tech and everything else. You like Facebook, I'm going to give you a breadcrumb for that magic butter machine, or anybody else that has one of those. It was called Magical Butter Users Unite. It's a Facebook group.
Yeah, I think I'm in it.
And there's a lady on there. You'll know if I tell you this name, if you're like, oh, I know who that is. Sage Amdal or Amadal is one of the main contributors. And in the beginning, she was someone that really, really helped me figure out how I was going to do this. And, we spoke about different things like lecithin and things. Because I'm all about using the plant, not just as adult usage, but also as, plant medicine for me.
Right.
Help me help myself.
Yes.
So, then I came up with, how can I use cannabis topically? Because I can't always, even though you're a cook, you can't always smoke down at work, even though sometimes you really can. There's other times that you can. So I came up with this formula bullshit of like, okay, if I take these essential oils and I take these other ingredients and I take this cannabis tincture as a base and I mix it all together, if I use that topically, does it help? And absolutely does help me. And it actually, there's some people in chat that have also used it before that it helps. Sometimes it helps with funky skin conditions like that it can, if nothing else, it can turn the volume knob down on that. Some of that, just get it to chill out a little bit. So
we're going to have to talk because we're
going to have to talk. Yeah, we'll do
off here because I got a few things I don't want everybody to know, but definitely I think you might be able to help me, honestly. I really do.
There you go.
Yeah.
You rumored in the beginning, you teased us with these 10 questions, and I think we've had
yeah. So I'm using something new. I didn't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I'm using AI now. Do you know what AI is?
Yes.
Artificial intelligence.
You're using it to generate questions.
Yes, sir. You got it. And these are 10 questions that they had based off of what gave me about
before
you.
We start, did you read the questions over first? You looked at them? Okay. What do you think of them? You think they're good?
I think they're pretty good. They're not half bad. They're pretty intriguing. Definitely.
This is the Organically Blunt show. We're not trying to put out, man, they're not half bad. We don't want half bad content. We want to turn out like
Right.
Oh shit, this is cool content.
Yep, exactly. But I just wanted to see how it would work. I was curious,
Shoot me. Let's see what you got.
All right, let's see here. Where would we be at in conversation if we were to go along the lines? Okay. Okay.
Cheers, Chad. I
Let's
am
see
listening
here.
to the Dead and Company concert from the other night. They did Playing in the Sands. So I went to archive.com and I got the recording of it from the 17th. Fucking really, really good. If you're a Dead fan, definitely go check it out.
Okay, here's one. We'll start with this one, then we'll go to the next one. This is about where we're at. This is the question that they wrote for me.
Or what AI minds want to know.
Can you speak to your experience as a founding member of GWMFG and co-host of that? That was one of the questions, which you did speak on.
Yep.
And then the next one is, how do you see the future of medical cannabis in Michigan and the United States as a whole?
Well, there's what I see and what I hope. So what I mean by that is that I hope that the medical cannabis card system remains. I hope that the medical program growing plants at your house remains. I hope that people realize that a medical card is actually a bit of protection for you just in case. I hope that the money that is used for this is used for research. I hope that now that people more and more are coming online every day with questions of their own, and cannabis itself is becoming actually studied by real researchers, that it's going to get to the point where we can make perfect formulations of those silver bullets that I was talking about. So we have this checklist and we say, okay, Skilbo, what's really wrong with you? And I say, well, I have problems with my skeletal system. I have inflammation issues. I have mental problems. And these are what they are. And so then hopefully in the future, they'll get to the point where they're like, okay, so this is what you need. And they can literally go, here's your medicine.
Right.
That's what I would hope to see that it gets to, but that's not what I'm seeing. It's happening.
Right.
I'm seeing more and more people dropping their cards. I see more and more people just getting to the point where they're like, it's all whatever.
Yeah.
It's good because alcohol abuse is going down. I'm a huge proponent of every single person self-medicates in some form or some fashion. We all self-medicate. And I'm sorry for those of you that have heard me riff on this before, but it's kind of my thing right now, is whatever you do to self-medicate, you just have to not let it rule you.
Definitely.
And then don't look down on somebody else, their form of medication. Some people shop, some people chit chat, some people smoke weed, some people use, other illicit things. It's just everybody uses something. And at the end of the day, everybody just wants to feel good.
Definitely. And the last question, man, it is a good one. I'll admit it did pretty good, but it's not organic.
Is this 10 questions already? Holy shit, this was the quickest.
No.
Oh,
but we've covered all of them pretty much in a sense.
There you go.
Yeah, but this last one, it is interesting, because we were talking about this too. And the question that they wrote was, how do you see the intersection of medical cannabis and mental health?
Oh, well, I think it's a double-edged sword, really. And I'll tell you why. I, for one, find that cannabis really, really scratches the itch for me. And I don't have issues, whether it's through tolerance or my endocannabinoid system, I can't say. But some people have an issue where, like, I am holding up, shout out to Winewood Organics, I'm holding up some of their 1-to-1 CBD THC lemon ginger gummies. Okay. Now, for some people, one of those squares is way too much. Even though it's a 1-to-1, it can still be way too much for people, way too heavy.
Oh yeah.
You're trying to self-medicate, not exacerbate the issue that you're having. So sometimes it's hard because you want to You don't want to be the person that goes, bro, you just haven't had the right strain yet. That is a how many times are people going to, it's kind of like being a mushroom forager, right? Let's say, well, you just haven't had the right one yet. Yeah, but in the process, I'm taking the chance every time of having a negative experience when that's not what I'm really searching for here. We've already decided that we all self-medicate, and at the end of the day, we all want to feel good. So I have talked for probably the last year about everybody talks about microdosing psilocybin. I've talked about microdosing cannabis. This is to get to the point where you're taking, 2, maybe 3 milligrams of THC, maybe once, maybe twice a day, maybe once every few days. The great Terrence McKenna was somebody, shout out to anybody who knows who he is. He was a huge proponent of saying the best way to use cannabis was to use it infrequently, though he himself used it every single day of his life, all day, every day as well. But he said to get the most shaman-like experience out of cannabis, that you needed to not have any in your system and then put it in your system. So
almost like a cleanse.
It's almost like a tea break, right? But but also by keeping it at a lower dosage like that, you're not going to have issues with anxiety. You're not going to have issues with maybe potentially the racing thoughts. And at the same time, as a medical patient, a lot of people would love to use it, but they're like, dude, I can't sleep all day. I can't drive a car if I'm blown out. In the very beginning, that's a very difficult thing. We made light of it earlier, but we both know that it's an acquired skill that you get through the years of it, But
definitely.
Red Eye. Shout out, brother. You're rolling up some cherry gas.
I've heard about that. I haven't had a chance to try that one yet. Definitely. Yeah. And that's what we're going to be doing, a lot of old school strains on the outdoor, at least on my part, because I like the old school stuff. I'm
cheers. Peace, have a great day.
Track down some White Widows and some, I know it's probably not authentic.
White Widow was, I'll tell you a breadcrumb story on that. The first clone that I ever received from a caregiver, shout out to my friend Linda. She was a caregiver for a long time. Basically, when the cards came out, she used to grow. Jilly Bean was her med.
I've heard of that one.
And she had AK, and she also had White Widow. And holy shit, dude! This one time at band camp. This one time at the disc golf course, your buddy Skilbo and his good friend Chuck went out to throw 9. And it's around this school, right? It's in the woods. It's not a big deal. But to drive on hole 7, I fucking drive and it cuts into the woods. And we had just, at that previous hole, we had just smoked this joint of White Widow, right, in the woods. Man, we spent like a half an hour looking for this disc, just high as shit in the woods. Like, there's a kind of high that I can get, and I know other people do too, but I don't really know what the name of it is. Have you ever had it where you're so high that you forget what you're actually doing? You're like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I here? Where, you know what I mean? You're like, be doing something, but man, and it's not like the old Cook thing where you're like, you go into the walk-in and you're like, oh, I was supposed to grab something. What was it? This is like a whole completely different kind of stone. And so there's this one dude that I don't remember. I think his name was, this is just goofy random shit. I think his name was Craig. He used to grow this other White Widow, man. And it was a different phenotype. It was like really, really dense and tended to be more piney. It was really good weed, but it didn't have that same kind of spacey White Widow shit. But, she'd had that in her AK she'd had for, pre-legalization shit. So definitely good meds, man.
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to do some Acapulco Gold.
That's a classic.
Yeah, and it's been hard to get. I've been waiting about 6 months for them to get it back in stock at Seedsman, and they finally got a batch, and I was like, I got to try it. I have never tried it, so I'm going to try it firsthand. And I want to do some of the old school strains and a couple of the new ones, but we're going to try a vast variety out there and make it happen. It's going to be It's going to be interesting. I'm trying to keep it down to like maybe 8 strains total.
Eight strains indoors or out or both?
Outdoors. We're set up with him the way he's got it. I think he's going to do 32 of us total.
So what are the strains that are on deck? Can't leave us hanging.
Let me see here. Let me bring the list up. I got to go back and look because unfortunately I didn't memorize it. We got Acapulco Gold, Orange Punch Mimosa from Barney's Farm. We got
is it a fem bean?
Yep.
Okay.
I
used to grow Barney's Blue Cheese Femme, and I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, it was a let me find it here. It was a mistake. Is what happened was
Season's good for mistakes.
Well, it was my mistake. I thought it was an auto, and all my autos flowered out, and then all of a sudden this one's just green sitting there, and I'm like, what is going on? And I go back and look at the pack, and I'm like, oh, it's a fem. I'm like, I gotta do something.
Gotta flip the light cycle on these bad dogs.
I put it under an SF1000, a Spider Farmer, and I put it in my bathtub, and I used one of them shelving units you put together, the plastic ones to hold the light above the plant, and I grew it in the bathtub.
Man, when there's a will, there's a way. And have a great day, says Skilbo. Hey, brother, do you have an inversion board or an inversion table? Early on, probably about 15 years ago, man, I thought that was going to be a great idea for me. So I went to like Champs or one of those places and spent like $150 on one. Came home, I was like, all right, sweet. Got on that thing, and as soon as I flipped backwards, it felt like I was being ripped in half. It wasn't like a good stretch. It was like the most awful feeling in the world. So I ended up giving that away to a friend of ours. Like, bro, you can have that.
Wow.
So what I do instead is I try to do gentle stretching. I use the rollerball topical, and I also try to, with fibromyalgia, one of the things is that sometimes people that have it can really struggle with depression and weight gain and stuff like that. And, if you give in to those two things, it can make activity even harder for you, and it can make it even more painful when you do try to get active.
Definitely.
So the gentle exercise, the stretching, trying to kind of watch what you eat too, man. You can't eat straight garbage all the time, garbage in, garbage out, especially as it relates to inflammation. So and I'm also the happy owner of a hot tub that after we get off of here, I'm gonna go hop out there.
Man, I've been dying to get in one. Like I keep saying, I'm gonna go to the hot tub gardens, but they're so expensive over here. It's like $80 an hour, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. Yeah, that's weekend rate though. During the week, it's like 35. But who's got time during the week? Most people don't. And then you got a book, and then all the time slots get full. But back to the strains, we're doing Orange Punch Mimosa from Barney's Farm. I'm doing I can't even pronounce it. Peyote Wi-Fi.
Oh, Peyote Wi-Fi. Okay, they used to do. Was it Peyote cookies? I think maybe half of the cross on that.
Okay. White Widow, Blue Dream, and Acapulco Gold.
There you go. That's some classic chambers you get going. The different flavors too. You've got hopefully the blueberry or the citrus coming through on the Blue Dream.
Yep.
The orange from the other one. Yeah. That'll be.
Yeah, it's gonna be well rounded. The Blue Dream, like I said, I treat that like my Tylenol. So when I get a headache, that's the one I roll up, and it tends to do the thing for me.
So what terps do you get off of yours? Do you get more of the blueberry side of things or more the hazy side?
I get more the hazy side on mine, to be honest. The blueberry is not real strong, but the current grow we got going right now, I have blues and purples. So in my indoor, I have a blueberry muffin from Humboldt, a 2 GDP.
Yeah.
Yep. 2 GDPs from Captain Redbeard, a purple ghost candy from Seedsman, and a Bubba cheesecake from Seedsman, and I think that's everything if I can remember right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so out of all those, which one are you looking forward to the most? The 2 GDPs to hope you find a keeper? Or are those already?
They're
those are
pretty
seeds,
much,
right?
yeah, they're seeds.
Okay.
They're, I don't clone. I do everything from seed. So yeah, I don't get to keep everything around. I haven't learned the full process to cloning yet. I'm pretty naive to that.
Okay.
I've done it, but I haven't had the success in getting them to root.
We can definitely talk about that and get you hooked up
Definitely.
on that. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I would love to continue to do that. My next step is to get a small tent to keep a couple mothers in and just do it that way. But I haven't gotten that far yet. But so I do a fresh grow every time from seed, and I have great partners that provide.
One side I will say is that's the best part about having your own garden, especially as a medical patient, is once you do find a keeper, you can just keep cloning it in perpetuity. And as long as you keep the clone stock healthy, you can keep these plants around, for years and years and years. Red's garden is classic proof of the ability to hold mothers in perpetuity and still pull viable clones off them time after time after time. And it's all about managing the health of the mother.
Yep. So, my old dealer, I put it that way. My old dealer,
my old hookup.
He only had 3 strains, and he had the mothers for probably 12 years. No bull.
So
he had
what was it?
Blueberry headband, strawberry cough, and sour lemon heads.
So when I tried to order from Seedsman years and years and years ago, the whole reason I tried to order from them was because a buddy of mine had a caregiver that grew blueberry headband.
Oh, yes.
So I used to be able to smoke with him at work. And that blueberry headband, dude, oh my God. It was, at that time, it was the closest thing I had to a silver bullet for me because it helped me with my pain.
Yep.
It helped me with my mood. And it also was like we'd be outside smoking in between a rush, right? And then it was like, boop, the joint goes out, we go inside, and then everybody like immediately goes to their fucking section and you all start fucking, because you can just hyper focus on that shit, man.
Yep.
It's sensational bud. You can smoke it all day long. Great.
Yeah.
Shit. Great shit.
I can't always find it, but I tell you, it's hard.
Yeah. This is like, how many fucking years ago would this be? This would be like probably 9 years ago now. So it's a long time. But anyway, when I tried to order from, they didn't have it. So then they had messaged me back and were like, yo, what do you want instead? And that's how I ended up with that Barney's Farm blue cheese.
Okay. Yes, definitely. I've had that before. That's excellent. Yeah.
For me with fibro, I found that a lot of the blueberry strains, there's something in them that helps me as a patient. The problem is that like I need it to hit harder. Like that blueberry muffins was a phenomenal example of like flavor and great stuff like that. But the stone for me just wasn't like, it wasn't like doing what I really needed it to do at the time. So, but I still have, I think you probably still have 5 seeds of that. And those are fem beans. So I could go back into those if I wanted them.
Yep. I've got some regular seeds too that I've gotten throughout the years, but they kind of just sit around now. So like, I don't know.
There could be like the creme de la creme fire that oh shit plant that you will talk about in 20 years is probably sitting in fall right now.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I got a large collection, but when I show people it, they tend to think I got a large collection, and I'm like, it's like baseball cards for me. I'm like, I don't really want to get rid of this one.
Instead of focusing on how many different packs you have, you really need to come down to how many seeds do I have, because each one of those is a unique expression, and each one of those has the potential to be like that shit.
Yeah, I probably got well over 1,200 right now.
Oh fuck, you're sitting pretty, my friend.
Yeah. I've got
it's 120 10 packs, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I give a lot away though.
That's a very crowded bathtub. I see why you're growing in there.
Well, if you look right here, I mean,
if you look right over there,
all them are king palms. They sent me 78 cases of King Palms. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. They're all watermelon. I'm giving them out this summer. So if you guys love King Palms, come see me. If you see me at an event, I'll give you a box full.
Dude, you know what? The King Palms, they did a giveaway at, what the fuck was it? Like High Times or something at the Russell. And they were giving those out. Dude, I like those, man.
They're good, yeah.
They taste really good.
I just can't smoke them all the time because I'm a raw guy, and that's all I smoke mostly is raws.
Okay.
I got into the Blazy Susans. I like the pop cones, but I haven't really gotten into a whole lot. The Future Rollers, I love them, but you can't find them up here.
Right.
So, and then, you know, you look under the table, all them boxes right there, them are mystery boxes. So then you look at this box here, and that's full of seeds to give away too that we're going to hook you guys up with. And I've got more boxes over there.
There's 11 people watching, which would be 10 or 9, basically, because you and I have ours going.
Yep.
I mean, that's a really good chance of somebody being able to win seeds right now.
Yeah, definitely. You know, why don't we do
that right now? We can't just tease people. We got to come through with the goods, man.
Let's see what I got.
So how do you typically do a giveaway?
I use a thing called Wheel of Names. It's a website.
Here we go.
But hold on one second. Let's see what I got here. I got to take my headphones off. 1 second.
Yeah, no problem. What do you think, man? I tried to do a late game giveaway here for everybody. Thanks for coming through. Hopefully you guys have had a chance to give the show a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and have notifications on, all that other good stuff that
all right. So I got a friend here. This is a Michigan bred genetic, I guess you'd say. He's a Michigan breeder. He goes by the name of Green Wolf Genetics. And I've got a 6-pack of Femmed Wolf biscuits, which is wolf beans and apple fritter. And what we're going to do is I'm going to have everybody here that's in the chat put a number 1 through 10.
1 through 10. I'm going to go with
put your numbers right there. And I'm going to put the numbers on the wheel here. And whoever 1 second, you might lose me here. I'm going to try to get it up. So if you don't, all right. I don't know if you can see me because I can't see you guys. But what we're going to do is we're gonna put the numbers on here, 1 through 10, and whoever picks the winning number, if they want to DM me, I will get these seeds out to them next week.
Well, we can't do any better than that, man. There you go.
So 1, 2, 3.
Cheers
4,
for one fine plan.
5,
Cheers, Red Eye.
6.
Cheers, Jay.
7, 8, 9, and 10.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Now I'm going to try to share the screen here. Well, I don't know if it's going to work.
We got a couple of numbers out there if you guys want to jump in. Looks like 4 is still open.
All right.
3,
let's see here.
2, 9,
all right.
10. Come on in.
All right. I'm going to, you guys see it. Like I said, I can't see you guys. So, and it don't spend the because of it, but it will work. It'll end on the number. You just see it on your end. So
it's above board. You'll tell us when it's good. He's probably got a little lag because he's got something else going. It'll come back in a second. It's coming through.
Yeah. The number 3 is our winner.
Nobody picked 3. Nobody picked it.
So if you picked 3, let me see here.
Nope, nobody picked 3. Nope.
All right, nobody picked 3.
Nobody picked 3. I called 3 too. I was like, hey, 3's open, man.
Yep, so we'll do it again here. Let me get it shared here.
Somebody take that 3 off the board.
We'll take the 3 off the board. Yep, definitely.
There's also 2 and 1. 10.
All right, here we go.
I don't see 4 either.
All right, we're gonna remove 3 if I can get it to do it.
You know what?
It's being a little laggy.
You know what we can do? We can do it even easier than that. We can say everybody that put a number in chat.
There we go.
So what we'll do is we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people playing 1 through 6.
Okay. All right.
You want to set it up for 1 through 6?
1 through 6.
There you go.
Yep, I got you. I'm gonna shuffle the numbers so that they're not in order.
We got to give people a chance to be able to put those in. I got 1 off the board, 6 off the board, 4. Come on, 2, 3, 5. There's 5 off. 2 and 3 left. 2 and 3. Do I have a 2 and 3? Can I get a 2? Can I get a 3?
Right.
We'll wait a second here. There's 3.
There we go.
2 is still sitting out there. Anybody want to take 2? Could be you. Number 2. All right. We'll wait another 5 seconds. And
all right.
Give somebody a chance to put 2 in there, because otherwise, if it comes up 2, we're just going to have to do it one more time with less people. We will have a winner.
Right.
Good odds, huh? Yeah, man.
You guys let me know when you got the number.
We're going to go in like 10.
All right.
8,
all right.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll that beautiful bean footage, my friend. Oh, there's my 2 right there. All right. Thank you for 1 5 plan. Come on. Let's go. Who's going to win?
It's spinning.
It's rolling. It's rolling. We're just
number 5.
Number 5.
That would be
shout out to Red Eye Rustler. There you go. Oh yeah. See, easy peasy. That's how you just whittle that shit down. That's a good way to do it, man.
Got a StreamYard's got. Yep, StreamYard's got a new app out for giveaways. We're going to be able to try. I tried it with Uncle Rick. I think that's his name.
Shout out to Uncle Rick, Sticky Ricky, man.
Yeah, yep. And I liked how he did it. So we might go to that eventually if I can get it to work on our software, because it's the same company. But definitely. So let's see here. Where was it at? I just lost the number. Well, the winner, I think it was Red Eye Rustler.
Number 5, Red Eye Rustler.
Yep. So if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, I'll get your address. I'm not only going to send you a pack of seeds, but I'm going to one-up it, and I'm going to send you one of the rolling trays too. So.
Oh, you got a rolling tray as well?
Yes.
Oh, dude, we didn't even know there was like a bonus gift going on with this.
I can't let you guys know everything, because then it can't be a surprise until the end, you know. But
cheers, Hank. Have a good trim, brother.
Definitely, you know. We appreciate you. We've been on here. We've been 2 hours, 20 minutes almost. So, you know, I don't want to take up too much. I want you to get in that hot tub and relax. So, with that being said, is there anything you want the audience to know, where they can find you or anything like that?
Yes. So let me do my little litany of fucking listings here. So you can find me over at Skilbo1 on Instagram. It's also Skilbo1 here on YouTube. The show is the Michigan Bros Grow Show. That's both on Instagram and YouTube. And we do a show Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Bros Show Live. That's on from 9 until 11. Anybody new? Let me just talk about the Sunday bit right now, because we were talking about growing with my fellow growers from the Cheap Home Grow channel. You can watch them from 7 until 9 p.m. on Sunday. Then you can slide over there from that channel to the Michigan Bros Grow Show from 9 till 11. Hang out with us. Get done. Go take the dog out. Maybe go grab a bite to eat, because Eagle Gardens will be coming on with Talking Shit with Eagle, and you can cruise through that way. If that's not enough on Sunday night, then you can come through Monday night. And here's another cool one. I want to give another Michigan show a shout out, which is the Medical Mondays podcast. Their channel, right?
Yep.
So go check out Medical Mondays. They come on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday night, and then slide over at 11 p.m. to hang out with me and Red and Spartan and Painted Lady and Sequence and Becca, and sometimes Tara and Troy and Baked when we're lucky. It's just another bullshit session that runs from 11 till 1. Then again, you can hop over to Eagle's channel after that and get another block of talking shit with Eagle. Then there's another cool thing is I am a part of the Polarity Science channel with Red, Becca, and Abolished Farms. So we do Behind the Veil, where we talk about plant entheogens and safe access to medicines. And that is on from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until 12 p.m. or thereabouts on Thursday nights. And then sometimes we get lucky and we will roll through and do a Wake and Bake with the Groskis over on the Michigan Bros Grow Show channel. If we do those are sporadic when we can get together and have it work Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So there's like a shit ton of content that you can be tapping into. I'm always glad to see you when you roll through in the chat. You always push positive vibes. I feel a kindred spirit with you, just trying to tap into the community, man, and to give into it what you're getting out of it instead of just taking from it. You know,
definitely.
We all gotta like recharge each other's batteries and shit because we're all in this thing together.
Definitely. I've met a lot of you guys' great panel already. I haven't met everybody, but I met Fagroli, I met Red, I met Becca, I've met Sequence. I haven't met you yet, but essentially I have. But I'm
the hard one to find because I'm all the way East Coast, man. I don't get to run gallop to the West as much as I'd like to.
Definitely, but I plan on coming down that way sometime this year. So if you guys have a good event coming up,
there you go. Get together and we'll burn one.
Yep. So with that being said, you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you for coming on the Organically Blunt Show. Have a great evening.
Cheers.
You've been listening to the Organically Blunt Show, a cannabis lifestyle podcast that's raw, uncut, and unedited. Thanks for listening to the show. We would like to give thanks to this episode's partners. Grow Strong Industries, the mother brand of Gorilla Grow Tint, Kind LED, and Lotus Nutrients. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Seedsman Seeds, a trusted seed bank with over 20 years in the industry. Use coupon code Organically Blunt 10. Horticulture Lighting Group, HLG, real efficiency, real yields, and made in the USA. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Rain Science Grow Bags, one-of-a-kind mesh grow bags that eliminate problems and increase yields. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Growth Bags, the best curing solution to save terps. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Captain Redbeard Seeds, genetics that are loyal to the soil. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Humboldt Seed Company, Humboldt's original seed. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Fishhead Farms, the maker of fish shit, the most robust beneficial bacteria on the market. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Sofim Genetics, quality genetics at a fair price. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Green Wolf Genetics. These genetics come from a wolf pack that runs with quality and no BS. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Utopic Essential Nutrients. Discover the truth. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Stream Gardening, world-leading mycorrhizal fungi. Dry tints, because we all need a place to dry that harvest. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And in the meantime, follow us on Instagram at Organically Blunt or on Social Club at Organically Blunt. You can reach us also via email at organicallyblunt@gmail.com. Organically Blunt can be found where you listen to podcasts such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Anchor.fm, and Apple Podcasts. See you next time on the Organically Blunt Show.